All right, and we're here with should be one of the shortest videos that we've done up to this point to go over the single rite of war for the Ultramarines. So just as before, we're doing rites of war separately, just for length of recording purposes and all. Just a quick review of the Ultramarines in case you didn't watch our video, but please do. We go over every little facet of them. But this is what I would say to some extent, a more primarily focused shooting legion. Their trait says if another unit within 6 inches of me has shot that target, I'm going to get +1 of my ballistic skill. Their advanced reaction says, hey, much like the normal reactions in the shooting phase, I get to shoot back, but that once per game, another unit gets to shoot with me, following all the standard rules. And specifically, we talked about in this Legion that a lot of their strength and feel comes from their special units. You're going to want to take their special Terminator squads, their special Breacher squads, all the sorts of pieces that they have around them, and that gives them a whole lot of their strength. And then Dan's going to lead us through this rite of war, starting with those limitations.
Absolutely. The Logos Lectora. So the limitations of this detachment are very simple, actually. This is one of the few ones where it's it's a lot of words, but it's not bad. So, first of all, you must take an additional compulsory HQ choice. So that means you must take 2 HQs minimum. Those HQs must be either a Master of Signal, the consul, or a Legis Damocles Command Rhino. All right, so you must take an additional HQ, and it must be either a Master of Signal or a Legion Damocles Command Rhino. Detachments using this rite of war must also take an additional compulsory troop choice, an addition that usually required by their force organization chart.
2 normally, yes.
So instead of, I think it's 2, I believe. Yeah, 2 normally. You must take 3 troops. And units which are part of this detachment in this rite of war may not deploy using the infiltrate special rule or enter play via deep strike assault, subterranean assault, flanking assault. Normal reserves are allowed. And this means that basically if you have drop pods, they cannot be part of the detachment at all. All right?
Yep.
So
well, you
are
can
on the
walk
table.
on from the edge, but nothing
That's essentially
else
what it is. You are on exactly. Yeah, but you are on
yeah. That's what I mean, yeah.
Well, walk on from your board edge because you can't do yeah. All right. So what are the effects? Because it is limiting. But what are the effects? Well, at the beginning of each turn in which the controlling player of the detachment uses this rite of war is the active player. So basically, when it's your top of the turn or your bottom of the turn, that player may select one of the Logos Lectora commands to follow, but may not select the same command twice in a row. However, each command may be selected more than once in a single battle as long as it's not selected twice in a row. With a basically you can select it multiple times in the battle, but it's got to be every other time. The effect of this command is applied to all models in the army with the Ultramarine special rule and infantry unit type. Only the infantry get this. And lasts until the controlling player's next turn, the active next turn. So,
4.
There are 4? Yes, there are 4 Logos Lectora commands that you can do, and each one modifies your units in a certain way. So, you can do full march. All models with the infantry unit type and the Legion Astartes Ultramarine special rule must increase the movement characteristic by 2+, or +2, but reduce their ballistic weapon skill and ballistic skill by -1. So you get 2+ movement, but your weapon skill and ballistic skill go down by 1. Okay? Hold fast. All models with the infantry unit type and the Legion Astartes Ultramarine special rule must increase their leadership, if applicable, by +1, and may re-roll all fail-to-hit rolls during the shooting attack, but may not move or run in the movement phase. So you cannot move, but you get +1 leadership, and you re-roll all fail-to-hit rolls during the shooting attack, which can also include Overwatch. Retribution Strike. All models with the infantry unit type in the Legion Astartes Ultramarine special rule must increase their weapon skill characteristic by +1, and they gain an additional bonus of +1 to any charge rolls, but you reduce your ballistic skill by -1. And regroup. All models with the infantry unit type in the Legion Astartes special rule may re-roll failed leadership tests made to regroup while falling back and any failed reserve rolls.
So this is very similar to in 40K how they have combat doctrines. Yeah, that's what this is.
exactly what I was going to say. This is the beginnings of your combat doctrines for 40K. A little bit more limiting, a lot more limiting actually. Um, but, and this is where I was going to kind of weave, I mentioned this in the last podcast about Suzerain kind of good going well, or even Filamentaris going well. Yes, some of these are limiting, but for example, since it's only when you are the active player. So let's say you're at the bottom of the turn. You always want to go second, by the way, which is very interesting. You may want to hold fast. Don't move with your infantry. Right? Remember, this only affects infantry, by the way. So if you're a vehicle or a contemptor or
Those are the
missing
main
something.
things. There's some other stuff, but yeah, it's
If
essentially
you're a
that kind
vehicle
of stuff.
contemptor, basically not infantry.
That's all
Yeah. Like I'm losing my right here. But if this only affects infantry, so your tanks can do whatever the hell they want, your contemptors can do whatever the hell they want, but you can hold fast with your infantry. All of a sudden, now their leadership is +1. Who gives a shit? But now they may re-roll all failed hits on a shooting attack. So you could park your Filamentaris Terminators right on the front of the line, right? Shoot them, right? They can't move. Shoot them, and then if they get charged, you're still re-rolling your Overwatch attacks. And let's say they were fool enough to shoot you, you're re-rolling those hits as well. And maybe someone else if there's an advanced reaction
though,
in there.
because where this to me is the best is when it's still night fighting, and night fighting lowers your leadership. So now my leadership is back to normal,
yes.
and it's night fighting. Normally I'm -1 to hit. All right, well I get to re-roll. That's better than having your base ballista skill.
Yeah, I would do the regroup for night fighting for me because you could still move and shoot and do everything, and just in case you fail leadership, you can re-roll it.
I'm less concerned about that because I have the extra leadership, and I can actually hurt you more. But that's if we're set up well. To me, it almost feels like
Exactly. No, this is kind of cool because
yeah,
you can customize what you want to do with your army. Like Retribution Strike. Let's say most of your shit's in close combat, right? Maybe you have a heavy support squad in the back. All right, they get -1 ballistic skill. That's gonna happen. But now everyone in close combat gets an additional weapon skill. That's massive. That means your Suzerains, their weapon skill 6. Your Filamentaris, weapon skill 5.
Wait,
are
they were
5
4
or
base.
6?
Yeah, because they're shoot better. The
4
4
base,
to the
yeah.
5
Okay.
is the big jump because that's what makes you easier to hit standard
Yes,
and more
exactly.
difficult to be hit by standard.
But even jumping 5 to 6 with Suzerain, because
Yes.
a lot of elite squads are weapon skill 5. Now you're hitting them on 3s. You're hitting them like this is Retribution Spike is a great like I like this Rite of War is I think really powerful. It
Yes.
sucks.
I think it's good game design.
Yes,
Because each of these benefits comes with a drawback. And that in my mind, maybe it's just me, but I love that in game design where it's not just, oh yeah, here's a bonus and the only downside is you don't get the other bonus, because that's not a downside, it's just you pick whatever you need. But an actual drawback like presented here, I love it. And I wish Games Workshop did more stuff
I
like
see it
this
very much.
nowadays.
Now, this is without me playing Ultramarines, just sort of in my, thinking around. I see it as almost okay. The regroup is when you truly need it. Like I never proc that one unless I'm in the spot where I need it. But otherwise, I see it as almost a turn 1, 2, 3 sort of idea. Your full march can get you into the position because the first turn, depending on where you are, especially say with night fighting or if they're back, I might not be shooting you that well anyway. Okay, I can position my stuff. Turn 2, maybe that's when I'm holding fast. Now is the time as you're pulling forward, I get to try and shoot you down as best I can and survive your shots coming at me. Then turn 3, this is the turn when I'm probably charging. Your army might swap that a bit, but especially with the way I see Ultramarines, a little bit more shooting focused, I kind of almost see that as like the order I look at it at, and then say, when do I want to change it? Because that fits, like I said, the concept of the way they do the
and what's
doctrines a little bit.
and what's really cool, Dave, is like let's say turn 3 do Retribution Strike, and you just wipe that initial wave, right? Because you got that +1 weapon skill, they're all falling back,
Yeah.
whatever. You actually Retribution struck them. No, hold on.
Yes.
Then on turn 4, you go back to hold fast. Because it's not, it like that's what I like about it. You keep jumping, or
Yeah.
maybe you go back to full march and you march on an objective
I see
with the
there's
extra
almost a
2
1,
inches of
2,
move.
3, and then you have 3 more turns of what do you need now? Where are you? If you're still stuck in combat, stay. If you need to start shooting, go. If you need to get moving, you can adjust yourself to be whatever it is that you need at the moment.
What's funny
Yes.
is regroup is a nice reset too. So let's say turn 3 to turn 4, right? It sucks. You're still stuck in combat. Well, I don't want to go down a weapon skill, right? But I also want to move just in case I need to move.
And it's good if you're
Regroup.
bringing reserves. It's good too because you get to re-roll the failed.
Yep.
This is a really cool. This is a really cool rite of war. This is a really cool rite of war. And again, it plays to the Ultramarine strength of do everything.
And it doesn't
can.
cost you much. It will cost you an extra
Different
HQ that maybe was someone you didn't want to bring in. I've never used the Master of Signal, so nor have I used the Command Rhino.
Is that the one that dropped the bombardment? Someone remind me what the hell.
Those are both those units are the ones
they're
that
reserve
mess with
based things.
enemy reserves.
Oh.
Would you like to make your opponent have a disordered deep strike on a 1, 2, or 3?
Oh my God! Wait, what?
You can give those units disruption emitters, something to that effect.
Well,
No, wait.
and-
1, 2, or 3 though?
rather than
Are you sure?
all right, don't
Yes.
get
Look
so
it up,
excited
I'm
until you
looking it
know
up
for
as
sure.
Hold on. I guess it's special.
Just look it up.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no way. That's
Yes way. And if only the defenders in the giant mega battle I played thought to field such a thing, because we deep struck like 2 entire armies in a 4v4 mega battle.
Yeah.
And it got ugly
Vox Disruptor Array
inside
is
of
what you're
that
talking
bastion.
about.
I can't find disruption in
Yeah,
it.
Vox Disruptor Array.
Oh,
That's
Vox-
what it was. Yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and it's subterranean assaults. Oh my God!
Yeah. Just reserves become disordered on a 1, 2, or 3.
Oh my! And for those who don't know what disorder, Steve, would you like to tell the audience what a disorder does? Because
It's simple. You when you deep strike, first unit deep strike scatters. Okay, and then you roll a die, see if it's disordered. Normally, it's disordered on a 1. Just push it to 1, 2, or 3. If that happens, you, as the opponent, get
some
to place
distance.
the rest of that
It
unit.
depends on the type.
The rest of the units. Yeah. So what that means is, you get to put them in a bad spot. You get to make them suboptimal in deployment. But it's double-edged because your own reserves also take that penalty. But hey, would you look at that? In this rite of war, you're not
can't take
fielding
reserves. Who gives a
reserves
shit? Yeah.
that matter for it. Yeah. So if you are dealing with lots of different like deep strike assault, outflank assault, blank assaults, you can fix that
And
problem.
the extra troop is fine. I mean, yes.
You're gonna field them anyway.
Yeah, because it
You're
doesn't
gonna field an extra troop anyway.
It is compulsory. So it has to be one of the ones that can be compulsory. It can't be like a support squad or anything like that. But to me, that those two things, those limitations are limitations, but it's mostly in the term of I'm going to tell you how to spend some points. Like you're going to play at whatever point level, but you're really playing down points because I'm going to tell you the stuff you have to take. Not the most restrictive, but it does mean you don't get to do necessarily all the things that you may want to. Like if you wanted to take a particular suite of HQ choices, you don't necessarily have that ability. But it's really good.
I mean, also, I was gonna say a 20-man tactical unit all of a sudden jumping a weapon skill 5. That's spicy.
It's not terrible, but that's assuming you had other units that are in the combat. I'm not going retribution just to help out my tac squad.
No, but like
Never.
No, but I understand that. But let's say there's a remember, it lasts
start
until
of
the
your
very
next
end
turn.
of your turn, or until your next active phase. Exactly. So let's say they charge your tactical marines with World Eater tactical marines, right? That's weapon skill 5. They're only hitting you on 5s.
It's probably better defensively on that than in terms
That goes
of
from hitting
hurting
you
them.
with 25 attack.
That's a defensive bonus on that case.
Yeah. No, it is. That's what I'm saying. It's very because then yeah. And by the way, it says you can't move in the movement phase. It doesn't say you can't charge.
For hold fast, you're talking about?
So if they charge you,
Yeah, hold fast.
no, the one with hold on.
Yeah,
Hold fast,
you would be allowed to. It's definitely possible. You figure the weapons that you might be throwing out might be what stop you from charging all, but yeah, there's nothing that says you can't. No,
Yeah.
it is a
It's not
limitation
really a
because if you
limitation.
need to be in the
It's more
correct
adherence to
position
law.
for your weapons in the enemy,
Very true.
and you therefore do have to be careful with, say, your vehicles if you're moving them around, because your enemy can still reaction off of those vehicles. Like, you don't want to be right at the end of your range and then move your vehicle because maybe I can walk away and you chose this, you're not allowed to follow. Like, it is absolutely a restriction, but it's not a tough one if you're in the right spot. But you better be there already.
Mm.
No, it is.
Still a
I'm
very good rite of war.
I
Still an
guess
excellent
I don't
rite
know.
of
I
war.
guess I'm surprised they only got one. But I guess it fits that idea of they can be whatever they need in the moment. So it fits Ultramarines very well.
I was gonna say, yeah, this
Yeah.
rite of war is kind
'Cause,
of
I
they can
mean,
do
this
anything they
is,
want.
they said the precursor to the Codex Astartes. That's really what this is. Tells you what, under the conditions, here's the way you should be doing things. But you, as the player, have to decide what the conditions are. That's the real big difference. All right. I think that ends it for this rite of war because it is a nice and short one.